games in this series for North Georgia, so they've already taken the series. They can pull off the sweep against the Bobcats today. A 10-2 win on Friday. The offense was completely dominant. 4 home runs, half of which came from Phillip Ard. The other half came from the freshman Nick Stinson. And yesterday, it was a 6-run 7th inning that propelled a 5-run comeback as UNG stormed back in the 7th behind a couple walks and then a couple timely hits, 3 base hits in a row before the end of the inning to make it 8-7 and come away with the win. Ryan Taylor gets the save, pitched out of a couple tricky situations in the 8th and 9th innings, and North Georgia picks up another big win. This offense is really starting to become a highlight piece of this team this season.
Absolutely. Great composure yesterday from the boys, and hope to see some more of it today. Got what should be a fun one if it's anything like yesterday.
It seems like it always is between these two teams. We talk about the offense for North Georgia. With yesterday's game, they've got now 9 games with 8 or more runs scored this season. Only 2 of their 13 games played have they scored less than 4 runs. They also had double-digit hits yesterday as well. They've done that 8 times this year. And you look at where they rank in the Peach Belt Conference, they're top 3 or leading the conference in runs, batting average, on base, slugging, doubles, total bases, and home runs this year. They're also top 5 in walks as well. Really, really good early season, albeit a good start to the year for North Georgia within the Peach Belt Conference. It looks like they're on their way to being one of the best offenses in the league.
And if nothing else, just try to carry it into Peach Belt play. I mean, after today, Peach Belt play starts. Got Columbus State to finish off the month. Coming up next weekend, that'll be a Friday, Saturday, Sunday series. So see what they can do today. Get some momentum for there.
On the first pitch of the game, Gabe Worth, the second baseman leading off for Georgia College, puts it on the ground through the left side for a base knock against the Nighthawk starter Dylan Noche, the senior from Decula. So Georgia College is on the board with a base runner right away. I'll bring up Ben Hamaker, the shortstop. You mentioned the schedule, a little bit odd. No midweek contest this week for the Nighthawks, so they will start conference play on the road in Columbus, like you mentioned, Cooper, with the Cougars. It was a very good series here last year. Columbus State typically one of the better teams in the conference. So it's Dylan Noche on the mound for North Georgia. 4th start of the year for him. Also his 4th career outing against Georgia College, as he moves back to first to work the speedy Gabe Worth back to the bag. No balls and a strike on Hamaker, the shortstop. And fastball in for a strike. Good pitch from Noche to get ahead 0-2. 12 innings so far this year for Dylan. 11 runs, 11 of which have been earned, 4 walks and 5 strikeouts. It's been a slow start to his senior year here in Dahlonega. Yo, 2. Slider outside, and Hamaker doesn't bite. Noche had an above 8 ERA his freshman season. Then sophomore year really broke out, a 4.68 ERA in 42 1/3 innings as a sophomore. That's compared to just 14 his freshman year. That's a pretty big jump from year 1 to year 2, and he cut the ERA almost in half. Was even lower in more innings last year, nearly 80 innings at a 4.31. It's 8.25 right now through 12 innings, but certainly plenty of time this year to decrease that number. But he's been a guy that North Georgia has leaned on in some big spots in the last couple seasons, and expecting to do that the same. Looks like he's going to be the Sunday starter pretty much all season long. One and two on Hamaker. Worth still over at first. The pitch from Noche. Curveball in for strike 3. Hamaker knew it. Could only turn around and head back to the dugout. First out, first strikeout for Noche. I'll bring up Braden Smith, the first baseman. Curveball in for a strike. Noche seems to have that curveball going early on here in the first. Smith, 1 for 8 in this series, but that one was a big one yesterday. A 2-run homer in the 7th that extended GCSU's lead from 5-2 to 7-2. And at the time that it happened, it really felt like a backbreaker in that game. Those of you that were watching will remember the 7th inning where Chandler Thiel, the freshman reliever, came on, got the first 2 outs. He came on in the 6th, worked through the 6th clean, got the first 2 outs of the 7th, and then there was just a soft little single from Hammaker with 2 outs to keep the inning alive and give way to Braden Smith. And then Thiel and Smith got in a very good battle. 7 pitches. It was a full count opposite field home run for Smith. That put an extra 2 runs on the board. Bowen dives in, and it goes right under his glove into left field. Second hit of the inning here in the first for Georgia College. Both base knocks on the ground through the left side to bring up Matthew Mabon, the cleanup hitter. Mabon just 1 for 7 with a walk and 2 Ks so far this weekend. Noche from the first base side of the rubber delivers, and Mabon fouls it back, strike 1. Fouled again, and Noche's ahead 0-2. So with the 2 losses this weekend, Georgia College's season has now been bookended by a pair of 4-game losing streaks. They started 0-4. They go on a 5-game win streak to get above 500 and then lose the next 4 and actively on an L4 right now, trying to get their first win in the last 5 games. That's a double play ball to second as Prince scoops it, steps on the bag at second and throws to first to get out of the inning. 2 hits in the first for Georgia College, but no runs. The double play ends the threat. Nighthawks will bat for the first time after these words on the Nighthawks Sports Network.
Georgia, Georgia, the whole day through.
The whole day, every day, we're thinking about one thing, Georgia's hearts. While you're busy being you, we're working to make Georgia Heart Institute Georgia's #1 heart program. One of only 2 programs in the state offering robotic heart surgery as an alternative to open heart surgery. So whether you live in Atlanta or Athens, in the country or in town, the future of heart care is here for you today. We do it all because Georgia's hearts are always on our minds.
That old sweet song keeps Georgia on my mind.
Georgia Heart Institute.
Back here on the Nighthawk Sports Network, and the double play, the unassisted double play from Jake Prince at the end of the top of the first comes up big for North Georgia, as Georgia College had 2 on and only 1 out with the heart of their order up at the dish. And that's the second time in as many days we've seen the defense come up big for UNG. There were a couple really big defensive plays in yesterday's game as well. 2 particular inning-ending double plays that got the Nighthawks out of a tough spot and kept Georgia College at a close, strikeable distance for UNG.
And it's those double plays, not just ending the inning, or not just getting the double play, but also ending the inning, rather, that build momentum in a way that gets your team energized and ready to go up there and lock in for your at-bats and see if they can make note of that right here.
Andrew Zapata leading off for North Georgia against Mason Brown, the senior lefty out of Lilburn. First pitch swinging right side. That is down for a base knock. Back to the wall. This is extra bases for Drews. Picking it up in right field is Banks. A stand-up double on one pitch for Andrews Opata. Starts his day right. And North Georgia threatening in the first.
See if they can keep it going here. Off to a great start.
Well, they've got a good guy at the plate to do that. Jace Bowen is 5 for 9 in this series. 3 runs scored, 2 RBIs, also a walk and a strikeout. He's been a hitting machine this year and particularly this weekend as he shows bunt, pulls it back, ball 1. Good to see Drews get a solid hit. He's been waiting for a big weekend, and that one goes foul off the bat of Bowen. It hasn't been his typical weekend that we've seen through the first 11 games this year before today. Or before this weekend, I should say. He's 2 for 8, does have 3 runs scored, an RBI, a walk, but 3 strikeouts for Opata on the weekend. One and one on Bowen, the lefty-lefty matchup. He shows bunt and just chops it foul again. You could see upset with himself there. Bowen's been really good at laying him down this year. Not just sacrifice bunts, bunts for singles. Now 1-2. Swings and misses in on the hands with the fastball from Mason Brown. That's the first out of the inning. It'll bring up Phillip Ard. Ard 3 for 7 on the weekend. 2 home runs, 6 RBIs in total out of North Georgia's 18 runs. Runner goes. The throw down to third is not in time. Opata slides in safely. Another stolen base for Drews. That's number 10 on the year.
That's a big stolen base there in terms of making sure they cash this run in here. Scoring from second is definitely something Opata is capable of, but 90 feet less is huge.
Hard left field. That one's going to get down for a base knock inside the line. This is a double for Phillip Ard. Opata trots home easily. Nighthawks on the board first. Thanks to Phil Ard once more. 7 RBIs this series and 1 already here in the first inning today. Now Robish's turn, the left fielder today. Still only 1 out for Brown. That strikeout to Bowen. It's one of those strikeouts that, while a K, they are all equal in the stat sheet. 2 of those strikes were failed bunt attempts that went foul.
Yeah, quite unfortunate because, like you said, he's great at bunting. And if he gets called to do it again, I bet you he'll cash it in.
Robish flies out to right, but that does move the runner up 90 feet to third base. So out number 2 brings up Nick Stinson. Another guy who's been real good this year. Stinson, the freshman, puts it on the ground to short. Hammaker fields, throws to first, and it's in time. Stinson just a half step behind. UNG does strike first, though. 2 hits and a run come across in the bottom of the first. We'll move on. Nighthawks now with a 1-0 lead on the Nighthawk Sports Network.
I pledge.
I am an NCAA student athlete.
And I pledge to be a champion of unity
on my team, on my campus, and in my community.
I pledge to embrace differences and strive for inclusion and collaboration.
I pledge to stand against racism, hate, and discrimination.
I pledge to strive for love, care, and forgiveness.
I pledge to stand against silence, deceit, and obscurity.
I pledge to strive for dialogue, truth, and understanding.
I pledge to stand against fear and doubt.
I pledge to strive for trust and belief in one another.
I pledge to stand against complacency and stagnancy.
I pledge to strive for change and growth.
I commit to supporting my fellow student athletes in all circumstances that impact them.
I commit to both choosing unity personally and encouraging it for all.
I pledge these things because we are stronger together.
United as one.
Today's Sunday afternoon broadcast of the Nighthawk Sports Network is brought to you by Bryan Properties, the leader in commercial real estate along the Georgia 400 corridor and a proud sponsor of North Georgia Athletics. Dylan Noche back on the bump in the second inning, now working with a 1-0 lead. Coop, we've been talking about the offense for North Georgia this season, and that was another prime example where Andrews Opata gets a leadoff knock, and then no matter what, it's really hard to keep him from coming across home plate, not only with his speed on the base paths, but with the guys you have behind him. Even though Bowen strikes out trying to lay down the bunt on the double from Drews, Phil brings him in with the single. Opata steals third anyways to put more pressure on Brown. That's the type of offense that North Georgia's going to have this season. They're going to put a lot of pressure on you in different ways, as this one's popped up from Carson Phillips, and it'll be taken by Frost, the third baseman, for out number one.
And it's the stuff on the field that puts the pressure on, but then they can also get it over the wall too. I mean, Opata, Ard, many more. I mean, these guys have some big bats, and maybe we'll be lucky to see it today.
16 home runs on the year for the Nighthawks. That's best in the conference so far. .465 slug percentage, also leading the league through the first 13 games. On the ground, right side, Ard scoops it. Noche covers the bag and beats a diving Evan Cowan over to the base, 2 up and 2 down.
And even though wasn't able to get safe at first there, credit to him, because that's a high-effort play, you know, trying to take advantage of the fact that it was a slow past the first base hop and almost made a play there.
Right fielder Charlie Banks takes strike one from Noche, who's done a real good job getting ahead in counts this first time through the order. Banks, the 7-hole hitter, now 0-2. "17 pitches, 15 strikes for Noche already here in the second inning. Fly ball, left center field. Opata going back to the track, slowing down right at the wall. He leaps and makes the catch. Andrews Opata with a highlight play in left center, maybe robbing Charlie Banks of a home run. Nighthawks still in front, 1-0. Drews doing it all here in Dahlonega. It's 1-0 courtesy of Andrews Opata, who led things off with a double in the first, then came around to score on a single from Phil Ard. It's still 1-0 courtesy of Drews on defense. Deep shot to the gap in left center field from Charlie Banks, and Opata went back and got it right at the wall. Hard to tell from the press box up here, Coop, whether that was going to be over the wall or not. It certainly was smoked off the bat from Banks, hit to one of the deepest parts of the ballpark, and Opata kind of coasted over there to get there, which made me think it was maybe going to be a warning track shot, but he had to leap right at the fence, and I think he was just kind of coasting back there because he's just that fast and didn't need to sprint all the way back there and get there quickly.
Absolutely, yeah. He just glided over there and so casually, but had the read on it the whole way. Didn't have to worry about the sun getting in his eyes, and, I mean, just tracked it the whole way there. Andrew Zapata and the whole Nighthawk lineup today off to a great start.
And that type of play in these first inning and a half is what adds to the aura of Andrew Zapata, because not only we've talked about what he's done at the plate this year and before this weekend leading the conference and pretty much every stat that you could find offensively, average, home runs, hits, doubles, on base, slug, everything. And it's not just that kind of stuff. It's the fact that he's the center fielder as well and that he catches everything in the outfield, and that he's 6'4", and he's just got this way about him that you could tell he's going to be a leader on this team this year. And it's those type of plays. That's a highlight play defensively for any outfielder, one that you put on your highlight tape at the end of the year, and Drews just made it look routine.
And like you said, leading in every stat category, or at least in the top 10. I mean, you look on PBC's standings, and he's just up there everywhere. You see his name over and over again, and not just like barely in the top 10, but in a lot of these categories near the top 3 or higher.
And that's with a bit of a struggle, an uncharacteristic first 2 games in this series. Riley Frost puts a double out into right, so now with 1 out, Edwin Bowman has a chance to pad UNG's lead with a runner in scoring position. And just continuing the conversation on Drews. Last season, Andrews, one of the best players on UNG. Philip Ard was the only one that finished the year with any sort of personal accolades as an all-conference second-team selection. But Drews was really good all year, and obviously any team starting center fielder is going to be likely a highlight within their lineup. But he was not certainly anywhere near this level of production that he's started the year with. And that improvement is not just an Andrew Zapata thing. It's a Philip Ard thing, and a Jace Bowen thing, and an Edwin Bowman thing. And it's all through this lineup. These guys spent a lot of time here in this facility in the offseason, in the weight room, getting better, working on themselves. And it's clear at 8-5 through the first 13 games this year that they've become a much better team than they were last year, and they're ready to take that next step. Bowman, high fly ball, deep left field. Is it going to stay fair? It is gone, but a foul ball. Just barely. That's single-digit feet foul of that left field foul pole.
And I really thought we were about to see that weight training that you just mentioned pay off on the spot. See if he can do it again this time in between the lines.
He got ahead 3-0 in this one. Browns worked it back to a full count with 1 out, and Frost threatening at second. And a foul ball. Bowman did a nice job staying back, waiting for the breaking ball to get there. Edwin this season, bit of a slow start, was hitting 200 before this series, 2 for 7 so far on the weekend. And strike 3 called. Bowman thought he had ball 4 twice in that at bat. He was ready to head down to first. Instead, he'll veer off for the dugout as out number 2 is called. Second strikeout of the day for Brown, his first backwards K. Now for the catcher, Stripling, for the first time today. Bryson's 1 for 5 with 2 walks against the Bobcats this weekend. The 1-0. Just misses outside, 2 balls, no strikes. So Mason Brown, a senior for the Bobcats. Technically, Georgia College, his second college. He spent the fall semester of his freshman year at Kennesaw State, then transferred to GCSU. So he's got 4 years of baseball in a Bobcat uniform under his belt. ERA has improved markedly every single year this season. (3-0) on Stripling, takes all the way, and that's ball 4. And with 2 outs, Brown lets one go. There's now 2 on and 2 out as the lineup flips back to the dangerous Opada.
This is not where you want to be if you're Mason Brown. Got Opada already with a hit, and now he's got base runners.
First pitch, fastball in for a strike. Brown gets ahead. This UNG offense has been good this year at consecutive innings of run scoring. They're trying to put up their second straight inning with at least a run in this game. Brown nearly clipped Opada. It's 1-1. Mason coming off a career-high 7 innings pitched in the last start against Lynn. That was Georgia College's last win. Up the middle, base hit for Drews. They're going to send Frost from second. Stripling makes a big turn. The throw goes to third. Andrews Opada, second hit of the day, first RBI, and it's now 2-0 Nighthawks.
2 for 2 on the day. That's Opada. That's the Opada that we've been seeing all year long, and he gets a whole lot of stats there. Add into the book, and the Nighthawks are threatening more.
Bowen chopped foul on the first pitch. Yeah, it doesn't get easier just because you concede a run with Opada at the dish. Bowen at the plate now. Ard on deck. Robish and Stinson waiting in the wings. Lefty on lefty matchup. Bowen and Stinson, the only lefties in the lineup today and this weekend for head coach Tom Cantrell. J.D. Coleman dives into the right-handed batter's box to save that one. The 1-1. Breaking ball, and Bowen spits on it. Stripling at second, Opada at first. And Brown falling behind now. Had good command in the first. It's gone wayward in the second. It's 3 3-ball counts, which includes the walk already to Stripling in this inning alone. Bowen swings, opposite field, going back. Phillips, that is, over his head! Watches it drop at the warning track. Stripling comes in. Opada races around third. The throw's not in time. A 2-out rally for UNG. They've got 3 runs in the second and a 4-run advantage.
And we've seen everything from Opada here in the first 2 innings. 2 hits, a highlight snag out on defense, and now right there we get to see the wheels. I mean, he got around third in a hurry, and there aren't a whole lot of players probably in the Peach Belt that are fast enough to get around there.
Both Stripling and Opata had to hold, they were going with 2 outs, so they knew right on contact that they had a chance to score. And I think Drews could tell that Phillips was really just out of position. He was shallow and left, and it was just right over his head. He had to go directly back and lost his hat, was trying to make an over-the-shoulder catch and never really had a chance. Just bad positioning. I wouldn't call it a bad route. Like, he just had to turn around. Maybe he got a little bit of a bad jump, but that allowed Stripling and Opata to just turn on the jets, and Drews slides in safely.
Yeah, Banks just looked awkward the whole way, and Georgia College paying the price for it.
And this one's going to get down in the gap and right. This will score another. Ard on his way to second as it's picked up on the warning track by Banks. He throws it in, and the Nighthawks will not stop with 2 outs. A 2-run double as Ard trades places with Jace Bowen. And this is what we talked about. The double to Frost in the second at-bat of the inning. Then they get the strikeout of Bowman after he thought he worked ball 4. And then the 2-out walk to Stripling. And the lineup flips over, and suddenly there's 2 on and 2 outs, and you've got to face Andrews Opata. And we said it does not get easy, even if you only just concede 1 run to Opata. You go, okay, that's Andrews. He gets a base knock. It's 2-0. We're still close. Well, now you got to get Jace Bowen out, double to left. Now you got to get Phil Ard out, double to right. Now Kyle Robish comes up, and you've still got a runner in scoring position, and suddenly you're down 4 runs.
And it feels like it all just happened with the snap of your fingers,
Yeah.
you know. 1 second, it's manageable, and now not even a grand slam puts you tied. So hopefully after the plate meeting or the mound visit, Mason Brown will be able to regain his composure a little bit and, at least for the Bobcats' sake, get it back under control.
Head coach Nolan Belcher comes out to talk things over with his senior lefty, and the first pitch after the mound visit is well outside to Robish, who flew out his first time up last inning. Pops this one into the air beyond second. Backtracking is Worth, twisting, turning, and he makes the catch. So 4 runs in the inning for the Nighthawks, 5 in the game. All of them come across with 2 outs in the frame, and they lead the Bobcats by 5 as we head to the third here from Bob Stein Stadium.
At the heart of America's gold rush stands a beacon of leadership, tradition, and excellence. A university that has always led the way, forging an environment for broad-based academics, world-class athletics, and tomorrow's military leaders. The University of North Georgia. Learning and leadership. Passion and preparation. Transformation and tradition. We are the University of North Georgia.
No matter how you connect, ETC delivers fast, reliable internet and secure, powerful Wi-Fi choices for your home. For intense gaming, easy sharing, and buffer-free streaming on every device, all at once. With local experts ready to help. Connect to faster internet. Connect to awesome Wi-Fi. Connect to now. Call or visit etcnow.com to upgrade your internet today.
A 2-out, 4-run rally in the second inning for North Georgia makes it 5-0 in total in this game. And, boy, Dylan Noche, how about a change of pace? A lot more comfortable probably out there to start the third inning. He's got plenty of room to work with a 5-run lead now over the Bobcats. 8, 9, and 1 hitters due up. Mitch Cowan, J.D. Coleman, and then the top of the order, Gabe Worth. First pitch breaking ball to Cowan, in for a strike, and Noche continues the good command and the advantageous hitting counts. Foul ball, and it's 0-2. Beautiful sunny Sunday afternoon here in Dahlonega. Much nicer than it has been as of late. Yesterday was overcast, just kind of gray and a little bit windy, chilly. 51 degrees right now at Bob Stein Stadium. Good crowd on hand. Plenty of people out here this afternoon. It's been a good weekend of UNG athletics. Coop, you were over just a little bit down the way yesterday at Haynes and Carolyn Hill Stadium for the softball doubleheader. Cowan puts it on the ground to short. Bowen fields a shoulder-high hop and throws him out at first. Against Saginaw Valley State, that softball doubleheader yesterday, 16-14 barn burner in game one. North Georgia pulls it out. And then Riley Moody, the senior shortstop for Brooke O'Hare, hits a walk-off solo shot in the bottom of the seventh of game two to complete the sweep. Pretty fun doubleheader down there?
Oh, absolutely. And, you know, that first game, you thought it was going to get away because after the first inning, it was 9-2. Nighthawks favored. And sure enough, grand slam from Jenna Morse of Saginaw Valley State. Put up a sixth spot in, I believe it was the top of the fifth. And they were right back in it and suddenly, you know, escaping the run rule and then made it a lot closer than it maybe should have been.
Yeah, there were a number of times in that first game that North Georgia had a chance to lead by the 8-run mercy rule. If they had led by 8 anywhere after 5 innings, game would have ended, but Saginaw Valley State kept chipping away. North Georgia led 16-11 going into the top of the seventh, and then a 3-run homer made it a little bit more interesting with 2 outs at 16-14, but the Nighthawks eventually pulled out the win and then had the thrilling victory in game two.
Absolutely. It was a stark contrast of the two games, going from a 30-run, almost a shootout, to a 4-3
It was a
game
3-point contest and,
you know,
and a free throw contest. Swing and miss. Dylan Noche fired up. He fields his position for the second out. Kay's Worth for the third. Works quickly. 1, 2, 3 through the top half of the inning. Nighthawks batting in the third after this on the Nighthawk Sports Network. Dahlonega Resort and Vineyard is a quick drive from Atlanta, but a world apart from the noise and sprawl. Escape to the North Georgia mountains for your next weekend adventure or book your next corporate outing today at Dahlonega Resort and Vineyard. How about Dylan Noche in that third inning? Gets Mitch Cowan to ground out for the first. Fields his position on a nice snag on a quick bouncer back to the mound from J.D. Coleman. And then strikes out Gabe Worth, who, remember, led off the game with a sharp single to left on the first pitch of the game. And you could see Noche was fired up to get some redemption there against the leadoff hitter and get a 1-2-3 inning to bring up Stinson to start the bottom of the third. Stinson, the only hitter who didn't get an invite to the party in the second inning. His first time up was a 6-3 ground out back in the first. Bouncing ball to third. This is a tough play for Mabon. Stinson runs well and beats it at first. A lot of speed for the two-way redshirt freshman, and he runs out an infield single. And Jake Prince's turn. Another freshman. Nolan Belcher's going to come out, and Georgia College is going to go to the bullpen. That's enough for Mason Brown. 7 hits and 5 runs already. He's responsible for the leadoff man over at first base. As Georgia College makes a pitching change, we will step aside and bring it to you after the break on the Nighthawk Sports Network. Junior lefty Caden Tillman selected by his head coach Belcher out of the bullpen. Tillman from Hamilton, Georgia, 6'2", 205-pound lefty. A 5.40 ERA in 11 2/3 innings last year. He's pitched 4 innings this year and given up 6 earned runs. That's a double-digit ERA so far this season. His best year was actually his freshman year at Georgia College. 17 innings and a 1.59 ERA. Made a couple starts as well. 6 walks, 12 strikeouts. Those numbers have gone the wrong direction, up for the walks and down for the Ks every year since. And he's got a tough lineup that's feeling good about itself today. That he'll have to work through. Jake Prince, the freshman, the first batter after the pitching change. So the starter, Mason Brown, only completes 2 innings with the runner, Stinson, he's responsible for, as he started the third before the pitching change. So 2 innings complete, 7 hits allowed in that time, already 5 runs, chance for it to be 6. 1 walk and 2 strikeouts. Only threw 42 pitches, Coop, but 42 in 2 innings and 1 batter is a large sum.
Yeah, not the direction you want to start here when you're trying to turn things around. You lost the series, trying to leave on a high note and trying to get off the losing streak that you mentioned earlier. And if they want to do that, they're going to have to work at quite a big hole here.
Prince skies 1 foul out of play over to the right. Still 0-2 on the freshman. The 2 freshmen involved in the game right now, Stinson, the redshirt at first, and Prince at the plate, both with a big weekend that they'll remember for their career. Prince had his first home run yesterday against the Bobcats, the first of his career. Stinson had 2 on Friday, each the first of his. Popped up right side and not enough room for Braden Smith. So So looking at this Georgia College team from last year to this year, it's a little bit of a puzzle trying to decide or figure out why they're off to this slow start. Certainly still a lot of time left in this game, but right now they're at risk of losing their 5th straight and their 9th already this season through the first 14. It's an offense that was one of the best in the conference last year, pretty much the second best offense behind Georgia Southwestern in every category. Prince skies this one deep out to the gap in left center. Phillips does have room just in front of the warning track as he makes the catch for the first out. But Georgia College last year, pretty much the second best offense in every hitting category primarily. It's one thing you remembered when they came to Dahlonega. They just had some bats, and they were just endless, it felt like, in their 1 through 9 with guys that could hurt you. They had timely hitting, streaky hitting. They could go on runs. And looking at last year, they lost 2 of their top 4 hitters, their lead hitter in Brandon Bellflower and Mason Poole. But Gabe Worth, Braden Smith, Matthew Mabon, the Cowan brothers, Evan and Mitch, all consistent hitters last year, all that hit well, all hit above 280. Mabon, Smith, and Worth all with 300-plus averages last year. And again, there's so much time left in the season. That one bounces off the mound. Chance for a double play. Fortunate bounce for the Bobcats. That should have been a single up the middle for Riley Frost. Instead, it directs right to the shortstop, Hammaker, who flips to Worth covering the second base bag, and the Bobcats turn 2 to end the threat in the 3rd inning. The leadoff single does no damage. Still 5-0 UNG when we come back on the Nighthawk Sports Network.
The road to national championships runs through NCAA.com. And whether you follow one college team or all of them, it's never been easier to get the content you want with NCAA.com, the home of college sports.
Back with you here at Bob Stein Stadium. Noche is warming up, getting his last couple of throws in, and we will have Ben Hammaker up to bat first. Ceremonious throwdown to second happens at the end of every pitcher's warm-up.
Now batting, number 4, Ben Hammaker.
Hammaker steps in, guaranteed to see Hammaker, Smith, and Mabon looking to get something going for the Bobcats, trailing 5-0. Thanks to Opada and company. Got a slight breeze from right to left coming in here at Steiner. Noche gonna have to work from behind, throws 2 balls, so 2-0. Delivers fouled off to the left towards the GCSU bullpen, lead 2-1. Locked and loaded, that one's foul, not going to make it to Coleman Fieldhouse, goes over the netting. Two and two, so Noche's back in it. Hammaker going to have to protect the plate here. gets it in play. Not fielded cleanly by first baseman Philip Ard, but the toss over to Dylan Noche, scrambling to the bag, gets the out in time despite diving Hammaker, and the first out of the inning is recorded. So Nighthawks escape that. Probably would have been an error if Hammaker had stood on first as of now, but not the case. Braden Smith up to bat now.
Ground ball to second. Pritz scoops and throws on the run. A nice job by the freshman. Smith, one of those guys that you look at when we continue that conversation from last half inning about the offense from last year to this year for the Bobcats. He was a guy that stood out with an OPS of 1042 last season. This year, 243 average before this weekend started, and he's 1 for 8. 2 for 10 when you add in the totals today. And Nighthawks get him 1-2-3 defensively in the infield. A 3-1 put out, a 4-3, and a 5-3 to end the frame and maintain the 5-0 lead. We'll be back after this on the Nighthawk Sports Network. Calling all business owners, let Business Furny, a proud partner of UNG Athletics, help you furnish your workspace with office furniture, graphics, wall solutions, and more. Edwin Bowman in a 1-2 count right now. Chops this one to third. Tough play from Mabon. Bare hand throw, but didn't get enough mustard on it. And Bowman runs it out. Another leadoff infield single. Back-to-back innings, the Nighthawks have done that. That brings up Stripling. Walked the first time, back in the second. Quick move over to first from the lefty Tillman. Bunt right side, well done. And the sacrifice from Stripling moves the runner over as Bowman now in scoring position for the top of the order. And when you think about it, no surprise to see them lay down the sack bunt there. Now you've got Bowman and the top of the order up. The top of the order's been great today so far. A combined 5 for 6 between the first 1, 2, and 3 hitters for UNG. 3 runs and 2 RBIs in that triumvirate as well. Opata left side sharply into the glove of Mabon. 1 pitch, and the Bobcats get a big second out as the announcer jinxes the Nighthawks.
It's quite unfortunate there. I was wondering if he was going to go 3 for 3 there, and unfortunately we had to say some, so might owe him an apology later. But
I think we owe an apology for Drews for this weekend. Today's obviously been better, but the first 2 days we could not stop talking about how good he's been, and he just hasn't been the same level. It hasn't been like an 0 for streak, so like we should be grateful for that, but baseball players are superstitious, and I don't blame them.
I'm generally not a superstitious person either, but within the confines of a ballpark, I certainly am.
You're a little stitious. You're not superstitious, but you're a little stitious.
Oh no, I go from 0 to 100, become super.
Glad a pop culture reference was recognized by somebody in this press box. We had a big pop culture reference on Friday that nobody caught. Really disappointing. As one of the elder members in attendance in the press box, really not a good feeling when all the college kids look at you like you're a lunatic when you make a reference to a movie. Hank Noonan not in the lineup today for the Bobcats. Really disappointing. Bowen takes strike 2.
Maybe next weekend.
I just can't believe these, mind you, like college students that are working in a press box are, at least to some level, sports fans, right?
Surely.
You would think. And you would think, like, wow, Bowen gets rung up on that one just to finish the point before the break. You would think sports fans have seen Caddyshack. Nobody had seen Caddyshack. It's criminal.
And it's a great movie,
It's
too.
the best movie. It's maybe the funniest movie ever made. It's Bill Murray in his prime. Anyways, the Nighthawks, they lead at 5-0. The leadoff single from Bowman doesn't do any damage. We're on to the fifth here in Dahlonega.
I pledge.
I am an NCAA student athlete.
And I pledge to be a champion of unity
On my team, on my campus, and in my community.
I pledge to embrace differences and strive for inclusion and collaboration.
I pledge to stand against racism, hate, and discrimination.
I pledge to strive for love, care, and forgiveness.
I pledge to stand against silence, deceit, and obscurity.
I pledge to strive for dialogue, truth, and understanding.
I pledge to stand against fear and doubt.
I pledge to strive for trust and belief in one another.
I pledge to stand against complacency and stagnancy.
I pledge to strive for change and growth.
I commit to supporting my fellow student athletes in all circumstances that impact them.
I commit to both choosing unity personally and encouraging it for all.
I pledge these things because we are stronger together.
United as one.
Dylan Noche has been really solid today for UNG through 4 innings. He's allowed 2 hits. They both came in the first. Since then, it has been 10 straight batters retired for the UNG starter. It'll be Carson Phillips, Evan Cowan, and Charlie Banks, the 5, 6, and 7 hitters, due up in the 5th. Fly ball left field right at Robish, who makes the catch for out number 1. And a quick at-bat again for Noche, who's now up to just 38 pitches and 31 strikes, Coop. We've got 1 out in the 5th.
And
how does that happen?
Likely what Brown was hoping for. I mean, he's still 42 from Brown before he was retired, and Noche
Mason Brown had 42 in the 2nd inning. That's good context.
I mean, a difference of a tail, 2 tails there.
Front 9 and back 9 almost.
Very familiar with that. Very familiar with that.
It's Sunday. We've got golf on the mind. We've got Caddyshack on the mind.
Right after the L7 weenie. Keep going with the sports movie references.
No one in this press box chuckled
Nobody.
for L7 weenie. That's crazy.
That's crazy.
Oh, that was a great pull. Tough play for Bowen. Bare hand throw. Yeah, they got him.
What a play.
Man, Jace Bowen continues to shine defensively at that shortstop position for UNG. That brings up Banks.
And a great reach from Ard there, too, to stretch out the legs and get there in time.
It also keeps the streak of retired batters, extends it to 12 straight now, with 1 out to go in the 5th. And quickly, Noche is ahead 0-2. Banks, in those last 12 hitters, was perhaps the one who had the best chance to get on base. He had that long fly out to left center that Andrew Zapata made a great catch on up against the wall. And here he strikes out looking. Can't believe it. 3rd strikeout of the day for Dylan Noche. He is rolling, and the Nighthawks are rocking to the tune of a 5-run lead, bottom of the 5th, when we return. Still Caden Tillman on the bump in relief of Mason Brown. Tillman came on after Brown conceded a leadoff infield single to Bowman in the 3rd. He's only allowed 1 hit since, struck out Jace Bowen to end the 4th. So he's got Ard, Robish, and Stinson, 3, 4, and 5. 2 up here in the 5th with a 5-run Nighthawk lead. 5 runs on 8 hits so far today. First pitch, fastball upstairs, and Ard's ahead 1-0. Three balls, no strikes. Nope. That's a hit batter. Caught Ard, I think, on the top of his right foot as what was going to be ball 3 came in. So he heads down to first. It'll be Kyle Robish now. First hit batter of the day for either side. Robish 0 for 2, looking to join the fun. He and Jake Prince are the only 2 Nighthawks that haven't reached yet today. Robish a fly out to right in the 1st. Popped out to 2nd in the 2nd. 1 for 9 on the weekend. Before today, got a good count here. 2 balls, no strikes. Fly ball, left center field. That one's deep. Phillips going back, and at the warning track, he makes the catch. Ard has to turn around and go back to first. Robish put a good swing on it, just didn't have enough. Had his first career home run last weekend against St. Leo. Towered one to left field. That one a little bit too much towards the gap as the ballpark keeps it in play. Nick Stinson's turn now.
365 over there in left center. Needed to be a little bit further left down the line, and might have even been out of there.
Mm-hmm. That's one thing we haven't.
45-foot difference.
Yeah, that's one thing we haven't talked about this year as well. Stinson out in front of the off speed. It's hard to see from our broadcast camera, but with the new NG that North Georgia debuted this season in the athletic department, the facilities have needed some updates, and Bob Stein Stadium in particular got some nice new facelifts around the press box. Is a new color, the stands, and including the outfield wall, which went from that royal blue to it's a black now with white lettering for the distance markers as well in right center field, where it indicates where North Georgia has gone to the NCAA tournament. Stinson hits it that way, high in the air, but Cowan races under it in the gap in right center to make the catch. But I tell you, when this team adds more accolades that can go on that wall, like a PBC championship or another NCAA tournament appearance, it's going to make it look even better. The black with the white lettering looks really nice.
Absolutely. I can't wait to check back periodically, not just month to month, but year to year, and see this wall start to have more and more numbers on it.
And it's going to be interesting to see who is selected to add years and accolades to that wall. As it was announced a couple weeks ago, this one's in the air to left. Jake Prince flies out to left field, so we will continue the conversation about Tom Cantrell's retirement, announced coming up at the end of the season, when we come back for the 6th inning here on the Nighthawk Sports Network.
At the heart of America's gold rush stands a beacon of leadership, tradition, and excellence. A university that has always led the way, forging an environment for broad-based academics, world-class athletics, and tomorrow's military leaders. The University of North Georgia. Learning and leadership. Passion and preparation. Transformation and tradition. We are the University of North Georgia.
No matter how you connect, ETC delivers fast, reliable internet and secure, powerful Wi-Fi choices for your home. For intense gaming, easy sharing, and buffer-free streaming on every device, all at once. With local experts ready to help. Connect to faster internet. Connect to awesome Wi-Fi. Connect to now. Call or visit etcnow.com to upgrade your internet today.
Fans, today's broadcast is presented to you in part by Coca-Cola, the official sideline partner of North Georgia Athletics. An unfortunate start to the 6th inning, Coop. Not sure if the fans at home could hear it. In the air tonight by Phil Collins was just interrupted right at the drum solo.
And I feel like we were robbed.
I feel personally victimized that just happened.
I completely agree. That hurts my soul.
Dylan Noche throws ball 1 to Mitch Cowan. Cowan, Coleman, and then to the top of the order, Worth due up in the 6th. Georgia College still scoreless in this game. Noche pitching a shutout. You and I were singing the entire commercial break.
Yep,
we had a nice duet. We had a nice duet going, and
2 more.
We were robbed of the climax of that, and that's really unfortunate.
Yeah, I think we could roll it back for a nice barbershop quartet if we could get just 2 more on there.
I think if we picked the right song, we could get the whole press box to sing along.
Well, they're 0 for 2 on our
on our reference,
pop culture references,
our media references
so I don't
today.
know what song you would have to pick. Maybe.
Well, that's the question I was going to bring up. That's the first batter for the Nighthawks in the last 13 to reach base. An infield single deep to short for Cowan brings up J.D. Coleman. I mean, what song are we going with that would get this entire press box to sing along?
I mean, it's at this point, it's got to be something extremely recent, maybe something.
Or just extremely, like Piano Man comes to mind.
Yeah.
The press. I wouldn't be surprised if someone in here didn't know Piano Man, though. That's 2 straight hits for Georgia College, and they've got something going here in the 6th now. Cowan at second, Coleman at first. Top of the order coming up to the plate, and Tom Cantrell is going to come out to talk to Dylan Noche, and quickly the bullpen getting busy down in foul territory of right field for North Georgia. Tom Cantrell does not want to push this button before it's too late. Still only a 5-run lead.
Yeah, it's comfortable, but it's not over. Still got to put this one to bed, so.
And we talked about Georgia College and their offense. There is still some of that firepower in there from last year, where they had the ability last year to do the same thing that UNG has done really well this year, and that's put up big innings and multiple runs in a hurry.
The last thing you want to do here is give any espresso to this Bobcat lineup, because
that cannot go unattended. I mean, everyone in here certainly knows Espresso.
For sure.
By Sabrina Carpenter. I don't think everyone would sing along to it by choice, myself included. It's catchy, though. It's catchy. You might get somebody.
And you got to start somewhere.
That's true. I didn't even pay attention to the point that you made. I just heard espresso and my brain shut off. 2 balls, no strikes. No chain, a tough spot now on Worth. 1 for 2 today. A single and a strikeout is Gabe. On the ground, right side, scooped up by Prince in the backhand. 2nd for 1, and Bowen fakes the throw to first to see if they could get Cowan trying to get aggressive at 3rd. He stays there, so it's 1 out, and runners on the corners now. It's a nice play by Jace there. Probably don't get Worth, who runs well over at first base as they try to turn 2, but you save the chance of a run coming across. Double play still in line to end the inning for UNG. First pitch inside to Hammaker, ball 1. Swing and a miss. Noche got him with what looked like maybe a slider.
Bobcats with their best opportunity of the game so far, by far. Top of the order as well.
Right side flared over the head of Prince and into right field to bring home a run. Georgia College finally gets on the board first. This is the only inning other than the first inning where they've had multiple base runners, and they keep it going thanks to Ben Hammaker with the RBI. Cowan scores, and it's 5-1. It feels like left side through for a base hit. And Tom Cantrell has a decision to make now. Bases loaded, 1 out, and Dylan Noche struggling to get a hitter retired. The bullpen has not been warming up for very long, but they've got to hurry, because Georgia College has the tying run at the plate in Matthew Mabon, who hit 20 home runs last year. He's got 2 this year. And here comes Cantrell. They're going to go to a pitching change. So Noche's day is done. It was fantastic through 5. He's responsible for every runner on the base paths here in the 6th as they're loaded with 1 out. As the Nighthawks go to the pen, we'll tell you the pitcher after the other side of the Trammell Tire Pros call to the bullpen here in the Nighthawk Sports Network.
Georgia, Georgia, the whole day through.
The whole day, every day, we're thinking about one thing: Georgia's hearts. While you're busy being you, we're working to make Georgia Heart Institute Georgia's #1 heart program. One of only 2 programs in the state offering robotic heart surgery as an alternative to open heart surgery. So whether you live in Atlanta or Athens, in the country or in town, the future of heart care is here for you today. We do it all because Georgia's hearts are always on our minds.
That old sweet song keeps Georgia on my mind.
Georgia Heart Institute.
No matter how you connect, ETC delivers fast, reliable internet and secure, powerful Wi-Fi choices for your home. For intense gaming, easy sharing, and buffer-free streaming on every device, all at once. With local experts ready to help. Connect to faster internet. Connect to awesome Wi-Fi. Connect to now. Call or visit etcnow.com to upgrade your internet today.
Dylan Noche, 5 scoreless innings, 2 hits allowed, but in the 6th, 4 base knocks for Georgia College, brings in their first run of the game. They've got the bases loaded right now with 1 out. Nate Alexander, the redshirt sophomore out of Sugar Hill, selected by Cantrell to get out of the jam and keep UNG in front. Tying run at the plate for Georgia College and Matthew Mabon, who was one of their best home run hitters a season ago. Led the team with 20 big flies. First pitch grounded foul. Biggest spot of the game for either side so far.
First time Nighthawks have really felt any pressure, any pushback from the Bobcats. See how they handle it.
Up and away with the fastball from Alexander, 1-1. The only other time you would say maybe there was pressure on UNG was when Mabon was up in the first inning and they had 2 on, and he grounded into a double play to end the threat. The first and the 6th innings, the only time Georgia College has had base runners. Mabon's been involved in each of those. Double play here would end it. 2-1. Outside, Stripling does a nice job getting behind it. 3 balls and 1 strike. Nowhere to put Mabon. Worth at third, Hamaker at second, Smith at first. Alexander needs a strike. He gets it on the foul ball. Mabon, 35 extra base hits last year, 20 home runs, 15 doubles, a .628 slug. Was third on the team in OPS at .1031. Off to a bit of a slower start this year. The payoff pitch now. Into right, that will drop for a base hit. Mabon just flicked the bat at it. This brings in at least 1 run. The throw is cut off, so 2 score. It's 5-3 as Matthew Mabon, the senior for Georgia College, comes through in the clutch. On the full count, puts it into right for 2 runs. That's now 5 singles in the 6 batters that have come to the plate this inning for Georgia College. The only one that didn't single was Worth, who reached on the fielder's choice. He just came in to score. Phillips ahead 2-0. Phillips is 0 for 2 today, a pop out and a line out. Three balls, no strikes. Phillips didn't even watch the pitch, taking all the way. A little bit of mind games with Alexander, who does find the zone. Alexander keeping Smith honest over at second. It's been soft contact this inning, so Smith trying to get a good jump at second base, try to score on maybe another little flare single. Feels like every hit has been that way this inning for Georgia College. Check swing, did not go, no appeal. Ball 4, bases loaded again for the second time. That's the first walk of the day that the Bobcats have worked.
Cantrell coming out again.
Alexander got into back-to-back full counts against Mabon and Phillips, and his day is done. Does not record an out. Nighthawks still with only one out in the inning. Bases loaded. And they're going to go back to the pen once more. We'll step aside and bring you the pitching change in a moment after these words on the Nighthawk Sports Network. Connor Harris, junior righty, out of the bullpen for UNG to again try to get the Nighthawks out of this bases loaded jam. Only one out. First pitch swinging, and it's to second for one. Throw to first, not in time. A run comes across as Cowan reaches on the fielder's choice. They do finally get the second out. That run from Braden Smith is the last runner that the starter Dylan Noche was responsible for. So his line finishes 5 1/3 innings, 6 hits, 4 runs, all of which earned, but no walks and 3 strikeouts. Mabon moved up to third. Phillips out on the fielder's choice ground out. Charlie Banks, the 9th hitter, as Georgia College has batted around here in the 6th, still trailing by a run. Throw to first from Harris. Harris pitched on Friday in this series. A scoreless relief inning, faced 4 batters. He has allowed just 2 earned runs in 3 2/3 innings this year. 1 walk, 3 strikeouts so far. For the Athens, Georgia native, he's ahead 0-2 on Charlie Banks. They'd love a strikeout here to at least hold the lead in this big inning. Strike 3 called. Banks watched it go by. Second consecutive time he is struck out looking. And despite 4 runs coming across in the inning, Connor Harris ends the threat in the 6th. UNG still in front. We've got a good one now, 5-4, bottom of the 6th after this.
I pledge.
I
am an NCAA student athlete.
And I pledge to be a champion of unity
On my team, on my campus, and in my community.
I pledge to embrace differences and strive for inclusion and collaboration.
I pledge to stand against racism, hate, and discrimination.
I pledge to strive for love, care, and forgiveness.
I pledge to stand against silence, deceit, and obscurity.
I pledge to strive for dialogue, truth, and understanding.
I pledge to stand against fear and doubt.
I pledge to strive for trust and belief in one another.
I pledge to stand against complacency and stagnancy.
I pledge to strive for change and growth.
I commit to supporting my fellow student athletes in all circumstances that impact them.
I commit to both choosing unity personally and encouraging it for all.
I pledge these things because we are stronger together.
United as one.
We've got a ball game, folks, here on the Nighthawk Sports Network, 5-4. Nighthawks led 5-0 after the second inning. They've been shut out in the 3 at-bats since. Georgia College was kept in check for the first 5 innings by UNG starter Dylan Noche, but they tagged him for 4 of his 6 hits in that 6th inning. And all 4 runs that came across are on his watch. It's now a 5-4 ball game. Riley Frost, the senior third baseman, leads things off with a foul ball for strike 1 against Caden Tillman. Tillman came on in relief in the 3rd to take over for Mason Brown, who had a rough start. He's been really good since. 1 hit allowed, 2 base runners as he plunked Phillip Ard to open last inning. Frost, that'll be a 3rd base runner. Drops down in fair territory. This is extra bases all the way deep into the left field corner. It goes. Stand-up double for Riley Frost, and maybe an answer back inning for UNG is brewing.
Would certainly like to see that. Applying the pressure back to them, letting them know, hey, we're still here.
That's Frost's 2nd double of the game. He's gone to both fields. Led things off for him in the 2nd inning with a double to right. And now the double down the line and left. Bowman's turn. 1 for 2 today with a single and a strikeout. Fastball up. Swing and a miss. Good breaking stuff from Tillman. Another one. Now 1-2. Tillman's fought back ahead. Stripling on deck. Opata would be after him should it get there. Upstairs. Beat him with the fastball, and after falling behind 1-0, Tillman strikes out Bowman on the next 3 pitches. His 2nd K, 4th of the game for Georgia College. First out this 6th inning. Stripling hasn't really had a chance to swing the bat today. Reached on a 4-pitch walk in the 2nd inning, then dropped down a sac bunt on 1 pitch in the 4th, excuse me. And he takes a strike here. This will be his first real at-bat of the day. That's foul out of play on the right side. Fly ball to left. Charging is Phillips. He gets there in time for out number 2. So now 2 outs with Andrews Opata, who's been big today. Double and a single in his first 2 at-bats. Grounded out in the 3rd. He's got an RBI and 2 runs scored already in this game. Chance to add to that with Frost at second. 2 outs. 1-run lead, and Opata takes ball 1. Opata thought about offering, did not. Ball 2.
Opata's done it all today. Looks like the Nighthawks might need him to revitalize the squad, get through the rest of the game with hopefully a win.
He's done it all, and they're going to need him to do more. He's that guy, though. If there's anybody you want to put that burden on, it's this guy. Two and 1. 3 balls and a strike. Georgia College has come back to make it interesting here in the 6th. 3-1 count with 2 outs. Frost in a danger spot, and they walk Opata, and that's probably for the best. It doesn't get much easier after Drews, and we've talked about that already. We saw how the 2nd inning went with Drews came up and had an RBI single with 2 outs in that inning as they brought across 4 in the frame behind more knocks from Bowen and Ard. But 3-1 against Opata, probably not going to put it too close to the zone. And you get the lefty-lefty matchup here with Tillman against Bowen as Tillman gets ahead. One and 1. Jace has struck out twice today. Did have a 2-run single in that big 2nd inning for UNG. Uncharacteristic to see him strike out twice. That one was after 2 failed bunt attempts, though, like we talked about in the 1st inning.
Put a little asterisk over that one.
Yeah. We're going to track that 1 strikeout for Bowen all season, see how much it's going to change his numbers.
Could be a difference maker.
In May, we're going to be like, yeah, but there was that one.
There was that one. And
you
that
remember back in February? If he didn't have that, he'd be hitting 458 instead of 456.
Could be the difference in the awards.
A line drive to right, a base hit. They will stop Frost at 3rd. Cantrell puts the late stop sign on, so it'll be bases loaded for the cleanup man, Phil Ard. Jace Bowen comes through again. Fell behind in that count, but fights a single out into right field. Now the guy you want up in this situation, Will Batt and Phil Ard. Will he face Caden Tillman? That's up to Nolan Belcher, and the answer is no. Belcher's going to go to the bullpen, probably to bring in a righty to face Phil. We'll find out, and we will tell you after the break here in the Nighthawk Sports Network.
The road to national championships runs through NCAA.com. And whether you follow one college team or all of them, it's never been easier to get the content you want with NCAA.com, the home of college sports. At the heart of America's gold rush stands a beacon of leadership, tradition, and excellence. A university that has always led the way, forging an environment for broad-based academics, world-class athletics, and tomorrow's military leaders. The University of North Georgia. Learning and leadership, passion and preparation, transformation and tradition. We are the University of North Georgia.
So the righty, Christian Donaldson, junior out of Loganville and a transfer from USC Beaufort where he spent his freshman year, is selected to try to end this bases-loaded two-out threat against the Nighthawks. First righty that Nolan Belcher has inserted into the game today. And really not a surprise when you pull the lefty as Philip Ard comes up. You have to imagine a righty is coming out of the pen, and that's the case with Donaldson, who has a 7.00 ERA in 4 appearances this year, 9 total innings, and 7 earned runs. That's how that math works. 4 walks, 5 strikeouts for the junior this year. So Tillman, his relief outing, as it stands, a scoreless one. He is responsible for each runner on base, though. He finished 3 2/3 before getting pulled. Only allowed 3 hits, 2 of which have come in this inning. 1 walk and 2 Ks for Tillman as well. Ard has been fantastic today. He has reached in all 3 plate appearances. Single, double, and a hit by pitch so far. Also has a pair of RBIs. Certainly if we've seen anything this weekend, we've seen that even if North Georgia puts up a big inning here, this game is certainly not over. Still 3 innings left after this one. But this would be huge. 10 hits and 5 runs already for UNG. They would love a base knock here from Phil. Infield shades Ard to pull. Only defender on the right side of second base is the first baseman, Smith. First pitch breaking ball, and Ard takes ball 1. Smith is off the bag at first. They put the second baseman, Worth, on the left side of second base, and the shortstop, Hammaker, is deep in the hole, while Maban at third hugs the line. Good 2-seam fastball with some late tailing action back into the zone. Results in a strike for Donaldson. And he goes the opposite way now. Slider away, and those 2 pitches breaking off of each other. Tough to hit. Nolan Belcher may have pressed the right button here to try to get out of this inning. 1-2 with 2 down. Bases loaded. Nighthawks clinging to a 1-run lead. And ball 2. UNG hasn't scored since the 2nd inning. Swing and a miss. They won't score here. Donaldson K's Ard with the 2-seam fastball. It results in a scoreless relief appearance for Caden Tillman. And Georgia College still within striking distance, but down. UNG leads 5-4. We're on to the 7th on the Nighthawk Sports Network.
matter how you connect, ETC delivers fast, reliable internet and secure, powerful Wi-Fi choices for your home. For intense gaming, easy sharing, and buffer-free streaming on every device, all at once. With local experts ready to help. Connect to faster internet. Connect to awesome Wi-Fi. Connect to now. Call or visit etcnow.com to upgrade your internet today.
5-4 the score here into the 7th inning, and a new pitcher for North Georgia, the redshirt sophomore transfer from North Alabama, Avery Brown, will take the mound. This will be Brown's 4th outing of the year, 3rd in relief, and he'll have to go against the 8-9-1 hitters, Cowan, Coleman, and Worth, who started the 4-run rally for Georgia College in the 6th. First pitch strike to Cowan. He looks back for an explanation. Brown, 3 earned runs this year, has given up just 1 in every outing. His best outing was the most recent one on Tuesday against Young Harris. That was 4 innings of 2-run ball, only 1 earned run against the Young Harris offense that put up 8 runs in that game and a top 25 team this year. Crowd didn't like that last call. It's 2-2. Line drive, right field, over the glove of Jake Prince. And Mitch Cowan has his 2nd hit of the day. So it'll be Coleman now. Brown, a quick move back to first. Keep Cowan there. He laid on the bunt, and it spins back foul.
Heads-up call there from Stripling to make sure nobody touched it until after it rolled. He had the best look at the spin on it, knew it would go in a favorable direction.
Bowen had one of those yesterday that was not as high bouncing, more dribbling down the third base line, and just barely spun foul. And Georgia College very smartly laid off and didn't touch it. So 0-1 on Coleman after the fouled bunt. He's dropping it down again. This one is fair, and it'll be taken by Stripling. The throw to first is in time. The sack bunt works to perfection as they put Cowan in scoring position for Gabe Worth in the top of the lineup. First pitch to Worth, fastball strike. Well placed, low and away from Brown. The 1-1 line into center, base knock, and this should tie the game. Cowan races around to score, and Gabe Worth comes through in the clutch. 2nd hit of the day, an RBI single in the 7th It's a 5-5 ball game now. Hamaker had an RBI single in the 6th. He now bats.
Nighthawks need to stop the bleeding here. But a wild pitch is not going to help.
Certainly won't. And Worth is going to get all the way to third base. And never mind, I think they're going to return him back to second as the ball went out of play. You're awarded the base you are going to. He was not at second yet when it got into the Nighthawk dugout over on the first base side. So still advances on a wild pitch, but not as bad as it looked like it could have been. And Tom Cantrell comes out to talk to Brown. And maybe it's more than talk to or not much talking to. Brown is pulled. Back to the bullpen. The Nighthawks go. Trying to pull out this series finale and secure a sweep of the Bobcats. All tied in the 5th. The Nighthawk pitching change here on the Nighthawk Sports Network. It's junior righty Matthew Hurd who will come on and try to keep Georgia College from taking their first lead of the game. They've got Gabe Worth over at second base. His RBI single tied it just moments ago. Advanced to second on a wild pitch. And now Ben Hamaker will bat with a chance to untie it. Nighthawks with 1 run in the first, 4 in the second, and held scoreless since. Georgia College started the game scoreless through the first 5, then they put up 4 in the 6th, and now 1 here in the 7th. Net result, we're back where we started. Inside, fastball to Hamaker. And Hurd inherited the 1-0 count, so it's 2 balls and no strikes. The first ball was the wild pitch, and that's fouled from Hamaker, 2-1. Hurd this year a 4.09 ERA in 11 innings, primarily out of the bullpen. This is a guy you're not surprised to see Tom Cantrell pull out of the bullpen and into the game, especially in a tough spot. Veteran leader on this pitching staff. 3 walks, 9 strikeouts this year. Hard foul on the left side. Makes it a full count. Hurd started his career as a starter. 14 of his 15 outings as a freshman 2 years ago were starts. He pitched a total of 69 innings. Had pretty good numbers, an ERA below 4.5, 55 strikeouts, 30 walks. That's a good ratio. He walks Hammaker here on the full count. Well, that's not necessarily what you wanted to do. It does put the force play on and bring the double play into the equation for Braden Smith. Two balls, no strikes on Smith. They need Hurd to throw strikes here. Just get some soft contact. See if they can turn two. 2-0. Good low fastball for a strike. Fly ball, left field, hooking, slicing, foul. 5 or 6 feet left of the white line. And it's just a long second strike for Smith, but that could have been a 2-run extra base hit and given Georgia College its first lead. Very close. And a good swing from Smith. 2-2 now. Hurd ready. Checks the runner, fires. Curveball, strike 3. Smith watched it go by, and all he can do is walk back to the dugout. Big second out for Matthew Hurd. He fell behind in that at-bat, but kept fighting against a good hitter and comes back with the backwards K. Second out of the inning. That brings up Matthew Mabon. Swings and misses at the breaking ball. Mabon 1 for 3 today. Singled last inning. Was stranded over at third as Connor Harris got out of it, but not before Georgia College was able to bring across their 4 runs. The 0-2. Swing and a miss upstairs. How about Matthew Hurd? Walks his first batter out of the bullpen. The threat is on, and he strikes out 2 of the best hitters in the Georgia College lineup in Braden Smith and Matthew Mabon. Stretch time in the 7th in Dahlonega. 5-5 ball game. We've got a good one, folks. Stick around right here on the Nighthawk Sports Network.
Georgia, Georgia, the whole day through.
The whole day, every day, we're thinking about one thing, Georgia's hearts. While you're busy being you, we're working to make Georgia Heart Institute Georgia's #1 heart program. One of only 2 programs in the state offering robotic heart surgery as an alternative to open heart surgery. So whether you live in Atlanta or Athens, in the country or in town, the future of heart care is here for you today. We do it all because Georgia's hearts are always on our minds.
That old sweet song keeps Georgia on my mind.
Georgia Heart Institute.
Five runs for the Bobcats. 5 runs for the Nighthawks. 6.5 innings complete. We're in the bottom of the 7th, and UNG looking to pull in front. Matthew Hurd, the junior out of the bullpen for UNG, veteran in this lineup. 2 huge strikeouts and back-to-back at-bats to Braden Smith and Matthew Mabon. He entered with 1 on and 1 out, walked Hammaker, 2 on and 1 out, and he gets the 2 biggest strikeouts of the game.
And those are momentum swingers as well. Not a whole lot doing for the Nighthawks in the last inning and a half, so hopefully put the Nighthawks back on the right track and maybe the Bats can follow suit.
Kyle Robish hitless so far today. Looking to change that as he leads off the 7th. He takes ball 2 to Christian Donaldson. Came on in the 6th with the bases loaded and 2 outs, facing perhaps, arguably, the most dangerous hitter in the Nighthawk lineup in Philip Ard, and he struck him out to get out of the 6th inning. So some big, big strikeouts from the pitchers on both sides in this game as we've moved on to the late innings here. Two and one to Robish. In on the hands, chopper. This will be a tough play. Maban charges, and he can't field it on the bare hand. Robish might have beat that anyways. And so the infield single brings up Nick Stinson. Robish with a hit. And it looks like they're going to pinch run for Kyle. Jorge Arispero, the left fielder, who was inserted into the game late yesterday for Robish defensively, now will run for him here in the 7th. So the lefty Stinson with Arispero now at first. Takes strike 1. Just off the end of the bat. Foul tip for strike 2 for Stinson. Grounded out in the 1st. Infield single in the 3rd. Then flew out to center in the 5th on a well-struck ball into the gap in right. Couple good swings. Stays alive there. Inside. 2-2, says the home plate umpire. Arispero gets back at first. And another move over to first base from Donaldson. Stinson slices one to left. It'll get foul. That one gets away, and now Arispero down to second base in scoring position. Two balls and 2 strikes. See, I thought the home plate umpire said 2-2 earlier. I thought it was ball 1, but figured I just missed a pitch or something, but that wild pitch is the second ball, so now it's 2-2. So a little off on the count here. He definitely put up a 2 with his left hand when he signaled earlier. So, and there is ball 3, close as Donaldson tried to slip it in through the back door with the curveball. Full count, nobody out. Arisborough in scoring position as the pinch runner for Robish after the wild pitch. And time called. Three and two now. Swing up the middle. That's through for a knock. Stinson comes through with a ground ball single to center. Arisborough races around, and Stinson comes up clutch once more. 6-5 Nighthawks lead.
Huge play to get it up the other side there, and if it goes to the left side, Arisborough's probably not able to score. So well-placed hit there from Stinson and gets the Nighthawks back in front late in this game.
That was a really good at-bat. He fell behind 0-2. Donaldson was nibbling around the zone. That great take on the backdoor curveball made it a full count, and Stinson knew there was a good chance Donaldson was going to come into the strike zone to try and get the first out of the inning, and he just slapped it back up the middle for a base knock. With the 1-0, Prince takes a strike. Jake Prince 0 for 3 today. On another big offensive day, he's the only Nighthawk that has yet to reach. Big spot here, lays down a bunt, good one to the third base side. Mabon Fields throws to first, does get Prince, but the sacrifice bunt works well. Jake does his job and moves the runner to second. Now a senior leader in Riley Frost will try to bring Stinson home and give UNG a little bit more cushion. Curveball up and away. Misses for ball 1 against Frost. Riley 2 for 3 with a pair of doubles today. Really good day for him. He's had a little bit of a slower start this year after having a career season last year. The 2-0 from Donaldson. Breaking ball, misses. Frost taking all the way on the 3-0. Donaldson does have a base open. Upstairs, and that's ball 4, but it's also a wild pitch that allows Stinson to move 90 feet closer to home. Almost hit Frost there. He was able to get out of the way, though, and that's really good that he did, because if it did hit him, it'd be a dead ball, and Stinson couldn't have moved. Now they've got runners on the corners with only 1 out, and Edwin Bowman batting.
It's a high IQ play there to get the same result for him, but a better result for his runner.
I think he also just didn't want to take one to the dome.
That's also
that might have been
fair.
the main determining factor.
We'll give him the extra IQ credit.
I think the last thing I would ever think about if I saw a baseball coming at my face is somebody else besides myself. Bowman fouls it back as he tried to lay one down. The 0-1 to Bowman. Popped up. Foul on the right side. Just over the bleachers. Good to see some fellow UNG student athletes in attendance today. As far as I can see from our perspective up here, got some women's soccer players, men's and women's golf in attendance, softball as well. Men's basketball players have shown out. Glad to see Nighthawks supporting Nighthawks. The big news in UNG athletics lately, yesterday, UNG women's basketball, a 64-51 road win at Augusta, clinches a share of the Peach Belt Conference title for them, their 5th PBC title in program history, 11th overall conference title in program history as well. All of them have come under Buffy Burson. Really a fantastic year for the women's basketball team for the Nighthawks. 0-2 to Bowman, tailing fastball, but not enough tail. 1-2 now.
Such a fantastic coach as Coach Buffy Burson as well. So many years of excellence.
8th among active D2 coaches in career wins, 656 with yesterday's victory. Bowman's got back in this one 2-2. Looking for some insurance runs. The run already this inning from Arisboro on the RBI from Stinson. Their first since the second inning. Bowman pops out right there to Smith at first base, so he won't add any more as Stinson will have to wait. Now Stripling's turn. Bryson 0 for 1 today. He flew out last inning to left field. His other 2 plate appearances, a walk and a sac bunt. The 1-0 outside. Diving stop by Stripling's counterpart, J.D. Coleman. Two balls, no strikes. And Stripling takes ball 3. Coleman another stop. And perhaps Nolan Belcher may be getting a little bit uneasy. Donaldson got the big strikeout to Ard to end the 6th, but since then, single, sac bunt, walk, and the last pop out to Bowman. And 3 balls and no strikes on Stripling, who takes all the way, and that's ball 4 to load the bases. Bases loaded, 2 outs for Andrews Opata. Belcher on the top step of the dugout. And he's going to stay there. It'll be Donaldson versus Opata here in a big spot. Strike 1, big for Donaldson to get ahead of the dangerous hitter in Drews. 2 for 3 plus a walk today for Andrews. Part of what makes him so good is when he comes up big in big spots like this, as the best hitters do. Back up the middle, Opata once more. One run is in as Stinson. Frost comes around. The throw goes to third. UNG leads by 3.
Textbook from him, and you almost expected it.
Yeah.
Like, I saw it coming the whole way, I feel like.
Well, he had the big spot earlier with 2 on in the 6th, then he was walked and didn't come through there, but not much he could do on a walk on 5 pitches. But when Andrew Zapata gets a chance in a big spot, you almost feel like he's going to come through no matter what in some way. Sure, everybody would love a grand slam with the bases loaded, but that's not what they needed. They just needed a ball in play that the defense couldn't get to. That's exactly what that was. 8-5 ball game late, and Georgia College goes to the bullpen to make a change. We'll bring you the change after the commercial break. Andrew Zapata, a single up the middle, plates 2, and UNG leads by 3 here in the 7th.
I pledge.
I am an NCAA student athlete.
And I pledge to be a champion of unity
on my team, on my campus, and in my community.
I pledge to embrace differences and strive for inclusion and collaboration.
I pledge to stand against racism, hate, and discrimination.
I pledge to strive for love, care, and forgiveness.
I pledge to stand against silence, deceit, and obscurity.
I pledge to strive for dialogue, truth, and understanding.
I pledge to stand against fear and doubt.
I pledge to strive for trust and belief in one another.
I pledge to stand against complacency and stagnancy.
I pledge to strive for change and growth.
I commit to supporting my fellow student athletes in all circumstances that impact them.
I commit to both choosing unity personally and encouraging it for all.
I pledge these things because we are stronger together.
United as one.
The road to national championships runs through NCAA.com. And whether you follow one college team or all of them, it's never been easier to get the content you want with NCAA.com, the home of college sports.
7th inning starts single, sack, bunt, and walk to put a threat on the bases for UNG. And then another walk to Stripling. Sets the table for Andrew Zapata to bat with the bases loaded and 2 outs, and he does not miss. Single up the middle brings in 2 more. UNG leads 8-5. Inning not over yet as the junior from Powder Springs, John Raines, the 6'3 righty, relieves Christian Donaldson to try to get out of the 7th against Jace Bowen. First pitch well upstairs and away. Bowen 2 for 4 today. A single, a double, 2 RBIs, and 2 strikeouts. So it's Stripling at second, Opata at first. Bowen leans out of the way of the 2-0 pitch. Makes it 3 balls and no strikes. Taken all the way on 3-0, and it is 3-1. Full count. Jace yet to take the bat off his shoulder, waiting for the right pitch. This guy does damage when he waits for his pitch. Payoff. 2 down. Runners on the move, and it's spiked. 55, 56 feet from Raines. And now Ard bats once more. The second straight inning with the bases loaded and 2 outs. First pitch got away from Coleman for a second, but he smothers it. Grounded foul. Hard tried to get under that one. Single and a double in his first 2 at-bats. Hit by a pitch in the 5th. And then the strikeout in the 6th against Donaldson, like we mentioned. Looking to have a different fate here. 1-1. Curveball gets in there.
Back to that second at-bat in the 2nd inning. Was during that 2-out rally where they got all those runs. Got 2 outs here.
And the difference in this game so far, the 1-2. Popped up foul. You also don't expect Ard to come to bat twice in a game with the bases loaded and 2 outs, and in one of those do something productive. Here's the 1-2 again. Misses downstairs. We mentioned the beautiful weather today. Sun shining directly over the center of Bob Stein Stadium. Wind gusting, light breeze that's blowing out towards left. Art on the ground to third as Mabon scoops. He'll throw to second to get the quick force out. And UNG doesn't bring anybody home with the bases loaded. But they do bring 3 around as 9 batters come to the plate in the 7th. And it's now an 8-5 lead with only 6 outs on defense left for the Nighthawks to record. We'll be back in a moment here in the Nighthawk Sports Network. Don't go anywhere.
At the heart of America's gold rush stands a beacon of leadership, tradition, and excellence. A university that has always led the way, forging an environment for broad-based academics, world-class athletics, and tomorrow's military leaders. The University of North Georgia. Learning and leadership. Passion and preparation. Transformation and tradition. We are the University of North Georgia.
Start of the 8th inning, and of course Matthew Hurd still on the mound. Came on in a tricky situation with Gabe Worth at second base and only 1 out in the 7th. Then walked Ben Hamaker. So 2 on with 2 outs in what was a tie game at the time with Georgia College rallying from behind. And Hurd simply struck out 2 of the best hitters in the Bobcat lineup, Braden Smith and Matthew Mabon. So he gets the 8th against Phillips, Cowan, and Banks, 5, 6, and 7. Setting the defense, Jorge Arisboro pinch ran for Robish last inning. He's back out there in left field, Arisboro that is. Breaking ball away and clips the back part of the zone for a strike against Phillips. Boy, Matthew Hurd looks ever so comfortable after those back-to-back Ks to end last inning, huh?
And how could he not look comfortable after a situation like that? Whereas now he's got nothing to deal with.
3 straight sliders, and the last one gets a soft little cue job off the end of the bat from Phillips. He grounds out to second. One up and 1 down. Now Evan Cowan. Breaking ball just misses the back door. Hurd's been really good with that. Locating that pitch in this appearance. The 2-1. Sliced foul. After Cowan would be Banks. He's 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts today. It would be big if UNG can make this a 1-2-3 inning, get Cowan here, and then get Banks. Because after Banks, you've got Mitch Cowan, who is the older brother between Mitch and Evan. Evan a junior, Mitch a senior. But Mitch Cowan's 2 for 3 today with a single in each of his last 2 at-bats. To short, Bowen gets behind it and throws the younger Evan out at first. But after Banks, you've got Mitch Cowan, who's hot, J.D. Coleman, who has a single and a sac bunt in his last 2. Then the lineup flips over to Gabe Worth, Ben Hammaker, Braden Smith, who've all been really good in the last 2 at-bats. You never know what happens if Georgia College can put together a 2-out rally. Big at-bat here to get Banks, who has struggled today. First pitch, he pops it up right side, and Philip Bard will let it go as it gets well out of play. A 1-2-3 inning in the 8th has to be pretty demoralizing as well for a team trying to come back in the 5th, or come back from 3 runs, I should say, for Georgia College. Even just 1 run here would be big. The fans cannot believe how that pitch missed. I can't either, Coop. Looks like it should be 0-2, but it's 1-1.
Not sure what the umpire saw, but he must have known something that the rest of us didn't. He's got the best view for a reason, so.
The 1-2, swing and a miss.
Oof.
Matthew Hurd made Banks look silly. His 3rd strikeout. The 3rd for Banks, the 3rd for Hurd. 1-2-3 in the 8th. As it stands, the last chance for North Georgia to add some insurance. They lead 8-5. Bottom of the 8th. Nighthawks will bat. You're watching North Georgia baseball on the Nighthawk Sport. Eighth inning, Jorge Arispero will bat. Then will Nick Stinson and Jake Prince, looking to give UNG a little bit more insurance. They got that already in the 7th with the 3-run inning to break the tie and take an 8-5 lead. Arispero takes ball 1. Jorge, 8 games played this year, hasn't been in the lineup as much as he was last season. Was a big hitter for them last year, 282 average in 32 games. He took a ball to the face late in the year and was out for the remainder of the season. He was a guy that you could pretty much pencil in almost every single day into Tom Cantrell's lineup, though, and rightfully so. 282, had 5 home runs and 7 doubles, 3 triples as well. Here he strikes out as the first out in the 8th. And that's the first K for John Raines. So a little bit less playing time for Arispero to start this year. Not quite sure what the status is of his health. It feels like if he's completely healthy, he'd be in the lineup every single day for Tom Cantrell.
It is somewhat early in the season, though, so no need to rush it. Just get him slowly reintegrated in and maybe see him taking over that left field spot in the first inning of games sometime soon.
Reintegrated. Are you making another pop culture reference?
Potentially.
Do you watch Apple Television?
I dabble.
You watch Severance? No.
Only a little bit.
Okay.
Only
I thought
a little
you were.
bit.
I thought you were making one.
Only a little
I think
bit.
I'm the only
I've
person.
seen clips
I'm like the
here
only
and
person
there.
I know that watches the greatest television show that's ever been made. So I don't know why that's the case, but
I need to put everybody on then.
that's. I tell every single person that I talk to about cinema. Stinson walks on 4 pitches here. That I ask them if they enjoy their life. And they say, most of the time they say yes. And I say, do you watch Severance? And they say no. I said, then you're lying. You can't actually, it's contradictory. You can't enjoy your life and not watch Severance.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Well,
I don't make the
start enjoying
rules.
life.
I
Oh,
just enforce them.
That's understandable. I've been in that position before.
Wild pitch, and Stinson gets down to second. It would be like not drinking water, not watching this show.
That's crucial.
Yeah, water is important to life. Up and in, 2 balls, no strikes on the freshman Prince. Some might even call him the Fresh Prince.
From Bel Air?
Come on, that's a good one. Jake's actually from Cumming, though, so.
Oh. Not. Do you know how far that is from Bel Air?
Quite a ways, I think. So Jake walks on 4 pitches as well. That is 8 pitches, all outside the strike zone for John Raines. Brings up Riley Frost, who also walked last time. That was against Christian Donaldson, though. Are we on Pop Culture Reference number with Fresh Prince number like 6 today?
5 or 6, yeah.
I think, yeah.
We're on a roll.
And we've got time. We've got 6 outs right now still to figure it out. Or 5, I should say. 5 outs left to add more.
Should we shoot for 10?
Well, I think it has to come naturally, which it kind of has. I mean, as natural as, like, intentionally making a pop culture reference can be without just, like, talking about whatever you want.
We're all related to the game.
Right. Espresso was pretty borderline, though.
I don't know. That one felt pretty natural.
You were proud of yourself for concocting
I was
that.
very proud of myself.
It was well done.
I still am.
It really, yeah, no, you should be. All the power to you.
Can hang that one in the rafters.
You're going to go home, grab this broadcast, record it.
Absolutely. I might tell my mom about that
Put
one.
those 9 seconds on a vinyl tape.
Yep. Replay it everywhere I go.
Make it your ringtone. Remember those days? Those were the days just before I could have a phone, but everybody would have, like, different songs as ringtones.
I think you can still do that.
Well, yeah, but nobody does it anymore is my
Well,
point.
yeah, nobody
It used to
calls
be
people.
like, it was kind of like your lock screen. Like, oh, people now, oh, look at my lock screen. This is something personal to my life that I care about. I used to be, listen to my ringtone. It's Jason Derulo. I love him.
It's a good artist there.
Oh, yeah. Love Jason Derulo. 3-2. Frost smokes it to left field. It's going to get fouled, though. Would have been a long home run. Instead, it stays at 2 strikes. Frost still looking for his first big fly of the year. Payoff pitch from Raines. Breaking ball, and Frost almost got it again. Long run for Phillips. He's not giving up on it. It will get out of play, though. A lot of expended energy on that one from Carson Phillips, but have to applaud the hustle.
Of course, never going to discount the effort.
That's one of those plays you think maybe would have been better to let it go. Like, had he caught that, I don't know if he's in a position to quickly turn and get the ball in. Stinson could have tagged from second to third.
Especially with all the activity in the bullpen.
Right. A lot of
bodies
crowded over there, yeah. Frost down to a knee as he swings through it. I think he was feeling good after those 2 long fouls. Maybe wanting that first home run. So it is
he's had a good day to get it.
Yeah.
The unlucky double play bouncing off the mound.
He really should have. He really should be 3 for 3 with a walk. He's 2 for 3 with a walk. That one gets away. Wild pitch moves both runners up. Stinson to third. Prince to first. Ball 1 to Bowman. Edwin jackknifes out of the way there. 2 balls, no strikes. 1 for 4 with 2 strikeouts today. His only hit came in the 4th, an infield single. (3-0). Bowman taking all the way, no surprise there. And there is ball 4. So the bases are loaded, and a ball has yet to be put in play in this inning. Strikeout to Arisbro. Stinson and Prince both walked. Frost just struck out. And now Bowman, the 4th walk for Raines, 3rd this inning, loads them up for Bryson Stripling. Pond full of ducks for the senior catcher. What would be the area of residence for a Nighthawk? Left center, deep ball, going back. Phillips jumps up and makes the catch as he slams into the wall. Bryson Stripling nearly cleared the bases. That would have almost certainly ended the game. Instead, it's a 3-run lead that North Georgia has to hang on to against the Bobcats in the 9th. We'll bring it back and answer that pivotal question when we come back on the Nighthawk Sports Network.
I pledge.
I am an NCAA student athlete.
And I pledge to be a champion of unity
on my team, on my campus, and in my community.
I pledge to embrace differences and strive for inclusion and collaboration.
I pledge to stand against racism, hate, and discrimination.
I pledge to strive for love, care, and forgiveness.
I pledge to stand against silence, deceit, and obscurity.
I pledge to strive for dialogue, truth, and understanding.
I pledge to stand against fear and doubt.
I pledge to strive for trust and belief in one another.
I pledge to stand against complacency and stagnancy.
I pledge to strive for change and growth.
I commit to supporting my fellow student athletes in all circumstances that impact them.
I commit to both choosing unity personally and encouraging it for all.
I pledge these things because we are stronger together.
United as one.
Matthew Hurd is going to try to end this game in the 9th. He will have to go against Mitch Cowan, J.D. Coleman, and Gabe Worth, barring any substitutions for Nolan Belcher and the Bobcats. Cowan's 2 for 2 in his last 2 at-bats, 2 for 3 in total. Coleman also has a single today. So not going to be easy for Hurd, but boy, he struck out Smith and Mabon in the 7th, and he has looked really comfortable since. Went 1-2-3 in the 8th and ended it with a big strikeout to Charlie Banks. So this is still the lefty Cowan. Hurd needs a new ball. You did some research in between the break about the resident location of Nighthawks, where they choose to gather and rest. What did you find?
Well, my original answer was just going to be in the skies, so I learned a little bit there.
In the skies.
Actually, in the kitchen, in the kettle is what a group of Nighthawks is called.
A kettle?
A kettle.
Really? It feels like just a generic word to use that to describe a group of different things. I was looking for, the cliche when the bases are loaded is that the pond is full of ducks, or any number of resident plus what lives in the residence. And I was trying to think of what it would be for the Nighthawks, but you can't say the sky is full of Nighthawks. It doesn't quite work that way.
It doesn't work. You could say that they're kettle cooked, though. The infield is kettle cooked.
That's not bad. That's not bad. Long fly ball into foul territory in left field, and Arisborough comes all the way over to make the catch. That's the first out, and only 2 left for the Nighthawks to pull out the sweep. J.D. Coleman, the catcher, now batting. Does kettle cooked count as a pop culture reference?
It's probably on the edge.
I would say it's like if zero was no and 100 was yes, it's like 48.
Something like that.
It's like close to 50. Like
48.
People know what kettle cooked chips and popcorn are, but it's not quite pop culture. It's not. It's no Will Smith, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
No,
it's no Espresso.
Not. That's like a 97.
By Sabrina. Espresso by Sabrina Carpenter, I think, is 101.
I agree.
2-1 on Coleman. Here's Hurd. And missed it with the tailing fastball. Back up the middle, off the mound. Bowen slides and gets there. The throw not in time. We're going to see Jace Bowen do that a bunch this season. We've already seen it, but on ground balls that he has no business fielding, he will get there and stop them. And he probably won't have enough time to make the throw at first, but he will make it closer than it should be on a tough ground ball, and he does it again there. That may be the end of the day for Matthew Hurd as Tom Cantrell's out of the dugout. Does not grab the baseball right away. This usually means that Hurd is staying in. A couple people getting loose in the bullpen as well for UNG. You can see Zach Green from here. Can't quite get a read on the other number.
I'm not surprised to see Hurd stay out there. Cantrell let him try and finish this one out. He's been great so far.
He's earned it as well.
Absolutely.
3 strikeouts in the 8 batters he's faced. 2 of the biggest strikeouts of the game in the 7th inning to essentially save the game. Swing and a miss. Boy, Gabe Worth wanted that one. One swing still won't tie it. Bobcats need at least one more base runner to really make this interesting. Ground ball right to first. Ard picks it up and steps on the bag. And now the last chance, it all comes down to Ben Hamaker. Ground ball moved Coleman into scoring position, but his run does not matter. Hamaker has to find a way to get on base here for Georgia College to try to avoid a sweep and a 5th straight loss.
Tying run on deck. So
popped up, and that should do it. Ard calling everybody off. It's a Nighthawk sweep here in Dahlonega. Georgia College came into Bob Stein Stadium. They started this season as a preseason top 25 team, reigning conference tournament champions. We talked about it, one of the best offenses in the conference last season, and North Georgia absolutely took it to them this weekend. 3 games with 8 or more runs. They win 10-2 Friday, 8-7 yesterday, and 8-5 today after giving up a 5-run lead. They are unfazed in the 7th inning with 3 runs to pull out the 8-5 win weekend for UNG.
And you could say that Georgia College is kettle cooked, but not leaving with any kettle cooked chips. So
You're trying too hard now.
I had to.
Oh,
it was
come on.
right there.
I guess maybe. But now North Georgia will head to Columbus, Georgia for the first conference series of the year, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, on the road against the Cougars at Columbus State. That's a very good Columbus team that every year is always tough to face. Columbus right now 5-5 on the year. The best team in the Peach Belt Conference right now by overall record, Flagler at 11-3. Remember, these Bobcats beat the Flagler Saints in the Peach Belt Tournament Championship last year. North Georgia now moves to 9-5, tied with Lander for second best record in the league so far this year. Cooper, appreciate you joining us today. Final thoughts on a big Nighthawk win.
I mean, it's a huge step in the right direction. Starting off PBC play next week, as mentioned, and like you said, Columbus State is not an easy opponent. So to get a series sweep here, not just to win the series, but to finish on a high note as well, fending off that attempted rally back into it, I think it'll be huge, and I think they'll be looking to carry it into next weekend.
Yeah, it's not easy to do. Not easy to take a sweep, and especially not a good feeling when you win the first two games and give up the last one. You end the series, you end that meeting on a sour taste. So really important for UNG. Go in with that momentum. They get a little bit of time off, no midweek game before they head to Columbus on Friday. For Aaron Panu, our producer, for Cooper Wow, our color commentator, I am Brendan Shabat. Thank you so much for joining us here on the Nighthawk Sports Network. We will see you back here when the Nighthawks return after their trip to Columbus. Until then, thanks and have a great evening, everyone. Nighthawks take down the Bobcats in the final game with a sweep, 8-5, here from Bob Stein Stadium.